I have a quick overview of the billing system which we use. Just for reference, we use this to invoice customers for usage of 4G SIM cards that are billed every month, IPTV that's billed monthly, quarterly or annually, and our system doesn't communicate, of course, with the 4G network or the platform panel for the IPTV, but if somebody creates a requirement up on the first of the month and we issue the invoice, we can then create an automatic renewing invoice, and I'll show you how to do that now. When you log in, you get the control panel, which basically gives you an overview of the system. You'll see here we've got clients, we can add clients. This client here that's empty is a client that has clicked a buy now button but hasn't committed, hasn't made a payment, so we don't have their data, and that will be reflected in invoices, I would imagine, if we have a look. Yeah, there's an invoice there with no client name and it's set to draft. So back up to clients. It's very easy. You can select a new client and just put the client details in. You can set their currency. You don't have to put the address in. At a very minimum, you need a name and an email address. That's it. Then we have products. As you can see, we've got a couple of products in there already. And when you create a product, you just asked for the product name, some notes, a description, and the cost. And the cost goes in without a currency because the currency is set by the system, or as you've seen, when you go to a client, you can change the currency. Invoices we have here, so I can very quickly just say show me everything that's unpaid, and it will, or show me everything, and everything gets displayed. And if I click on the invoice, I can look at the details of that invoice and it shows a preview of the invoice underneath. If I have a company logo set, the company logo displays there. Payments is payments that have been received. You can enter a payment manually, so if somebody pays you via cash, for example, you can enter the payment, just put in the customer name and which invoice they're paying and how much exactly, and then click on save. Recurring invoices is something that we use quite a lot. And one way of creating a recurring invoice, which is actually quite easy, is you just go to an invoice. For example, this first one we created, select clone to invoice, and then further down enable recurring, and if you go back up you'll see that the recurring options are available here. So I'm going to make this a monthly recurring invoice, set the auto bill to always, which basically means if they put their credit card details in, the system saves them, and I'm going to set the first date of the invoice to 1st of March. Active, and it tells me when it's going to be sent, and if I go to recurring invoices now, that invoice displays. If somebody receives the invoice on the 1st, they have 7 days to pay, and the system will automatically send out a reminder, I think 3 days before the due date, 6 days before the due date, and the day before the due date. If the invoice isn't paid, when you go into invoices, it will be marked here as past due, which means they haven't paid. Now, for an IPTV service, the service would have automatically cancelled because the subscription date will have expired. That usually is a pretty clear reminder to the customer that they need to pay. There's other features that are available as well, such as credit notes or quotes, which we don't use that often, proposals and projects, expenses if you want to run your expenses through the system, and then you can even run reports and have a profit and loss report. And if you go down to settings, you can see here it has the customer detail or the user details, and then towards the bottom we have email notifications when invoices are sent, viewed, paid and approved, when a quote is approved. So you get notifications on everything. Every invoice you produce, if a customer views it, you see that, and if they've paid, you will see it as well. And because we create this system with Stripe, That means any payments that are received go into your Stripe account, and from there, within 7 days, hit your bank account. Hope that was of some use. If you need any more help, just get in touch.